Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Welcome back to another episode of the Safe Space for Men. I'm your host, Ryan. Please remember to rate, review, like, and subscribe to the podcast. I truly appreciate it. Today I'm joined by my good friend, Ant Money.
Yes. How's it going? Thank you for having me.
Your government and that.
No, you good.
Yeah. So if y'all know Ant, I was on his podcast about a week ago. He had me on and we've been talking about it. So now we're getting into it. I got him here with us today. Go ahead and tell him a little bit about yourself.
I'm 36. I'm a Taurus. I like long walks through the hood. I'm joking. My name is Ant. Recently, I started a podcast, The Ant Money Experience, coming to you on the Big Exclusive Network every Thursday at 7 o'clock. And, I just wanted to bring something a little different than what I see in a lot of podcasts. I want to make my podcast as entertaining as possible. We have serious moments in it, but it's purely entertainment. I think there's too many podcasts that just like the serious stuff up, and it's a lane for those things, but people need enjoyment too. Like your podcast, I love it. It's dope, and it's something that I don't see anywhere else.
Okay.
That's what makes me a fan of it. But also with my podcast, I feel like there's just not enough purely entertainment type of podcast. So that's what I wanted to bring to the game, and that's what I hope I'm delivering to people every Thursday at 7 o'clock on the Big Exclusive Network.
It seems like everybody's either too serious or not serious. Like it's not an in between. Like to me,
right.
Yours, you do a little bit of both. Like you cover a lot. You cover sports. You cover relationships. You got jokes. You got funny videos. Like you're doing everything. You kind of like, and it actually I think you probably able to like reach a different audience because. If I'm looking for just to have a good laugh, I'm gonna get that. If I want to hear something serious, I'm gonna get that too. So you kind of get like the best of both worlds, and that's why I like. I told you I like that yours is live. Like that,
definitely.
That to me, that's live is hard to do. Like I said, you don't know. You don't. It's no way to really plan. You could plan for it,
right?
It's not gonna always go, the exact way that you expect it to go.
Yeah, because I'll practice and I'll have I do scenarios of how I want something to go, but I can have a comment come up and it'll take me completely off my path because something resonated with that person, and once I go address it, somebody else says, well, no, this, that, and the third. But I like it as a dope dynamic, and I really enjoy it.
I see that a lot. You'll be like, yo, pull that comment back up.
Right.
You'll go have like a 5-10 minute conversation. Like your last one went long. Like and then I didn't realize it to the end. I was like, damn, it was like almost 2 hours, but it didn't feel like 2 hours.
And that's the part that was dope about it. I knew that when I made the docket and I told my homie, and I sent the videos to the producer to put up while everything is going on, I knew that it was going to run over an hour because I'm like, I can see just this first segment is going to be long.
Right.
And the first segment itself, usually my segments, I try to break them up into 20-minute increments just because the show, I like to keep it in an hour.
Right.
But we was at an hour before we finished the first segment, so I'm like, oh, this gonna be a good one. YouTube, y'all did that. That was a good one. Y'all ain't had to take that away from me. But I'm gonna just come back even better next week.
So make sure y'all looking out for Ant's podcast, man. It's on I got it. The link on my page is on my link tree. But y'all can follow him at
The Ant Money Experience. Everything spelled The Ant Money Experience. No underscores, none of that. Just straight up The Ant Money Experience.
And it'll be in the information underneath my podcast. I'll make sure everything's tagged in there so you guys can find it. So check that out. We're gonna get into it today. The first thing I got for you, it's this is what I ask pretty much all my friends. Is just how's your mental health? How's life? How's everything going for you?
Well, I say as far as my mental health, I'm regular. I feel like my life always go through these cycles of everything is good, then it'll go from bad, medium to good. Right now I'm in a medium. I don't have no real complaints. Everything is good, but it's not great.
Right.
It's just regular right now. But I can't complain.
Yeah, I feel like I always ask people that. I do that like with my brother a lot. Like we'll be texting. I'll just like my other brother. I ain't gonna say his name, but we was talking the other day. He actually had lost his dad. We was just talking.
Okay.
Like, hey, how's you? You know what I mean? Like, I feel like when it comes to like men, nobody does that. Like, it's always just like when people texting me, like my mom, even my mom. I told her mom, she's like, how's the kids? She's asking me about everybody but me. Not that don't mean she don't care about me, but
right.
we just expect it to just like, well, that's life, nigga. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you gotta do man shit. And I just feel like nobody ever checks on like men.
That's a good point. Actually, right now, I literally text him on my way over here. One of my homies, his brother committed suicide, Jesus. And like when he gave me the call, I was like, damn, like I don't know what to say. And it was like one of those things where they say that the person that commits suicide is always the person you least expected. Like when it's somebody that you like, they always like mentally go through things, you tend to like pay a little bit more attention to those people. But I mean, when he told me, I was like, yo, what? It was a shocker, but I found myself just like, I would say we would text here and there, like, you know, life stuff be going on, but I found myself checking in on them, and it's not a thing where it feels like I'm just checking on them just because they happen. It'll be something like, yo, fuck them Eagles.
Right, yeah.
And it's not just like, yo, just checking on you, but yo, fuck them Eagles, love you, bro, talk to you later, keep your head up, hope everything's going good. But you're right, not a lot of people check on us. It's always how everybody else around you doing.
I do that with the chat every now and again, and I know, like, we play around it, like, you gay this and that, but I was trusting that.
You was doing this real positive shit a little while ago. I ain't like that shit.
Yo, good morning, brothers. How's everybody doing this beautiful day?
That positive shit.
But I really want to check on people, because like, I even do that with my family now. I'm pretty sure I know them. Like, we got a group chat, and I just check in, like, hey, how everybody doing? Just checking on people, because again, you never know what people going. I think that about how many times me, like, was going through stuff and nobody knew.
Yeah,
we was just getting up every day, dealing with it, going to work, whatever. And you know, everybody handles, you know, stress and emotion differently. But like I know when I sit down and I talk to like my real brothers and stuff, they older than me, and they tell me all the time, like, yeah, if you going through something, you got to say something, because we taught to not say nothing. We taught to just get up, go to work, muscle it, take care of kids, and just show up. Some days you can't show up. Some days you can't get out of bed. So checking on people is important, y'all. What does fatherhood mean to you? Like, how has it changed you?
I actually had this conversation with somebody recently. I felt that fatherhood gave me purpose. So my daughter was born my second year of college. Okay. Yeah. So I was the first year was kind of like, it was rough, just going from the Philadelphia public school system to Temple. It was rough. So I was behind, but you know, I kind of ran with the punches. I was running around all in love with my daughter's mother, and I literally flunked my entire second year of college. Okay. And they were kicking me out. They gave me like a little probationary period, and I went through that, and I got in and eventually ended up graduating. But that second year, it was rough. And the thing about it was, I had to make decisions, tough decisions, but it helped focus me, because I got this child I got to take care of. I can't just do nothing. So even if college didn't end up being the direction I went down, I knew that I had to do something. But I have this person that's dependent on me. You got to do something. And I mean, as I get older, I see the relationship changing. Like, I'm not the cool dad I used to be. Like, the jokes not as funny as they used to be. But actually, I had a conversation with her yesterday. She was telling me about something with her little boyfriend. It was I won't say it on camera, but I had to have like a real like life conversation with her. I had to tell her like about disappointment. That's something that's going to follow you. There's going to be many people you come across that are going to disappoint you. And then she was telling me about school and how she was just having a rough time. And I'm like, yo, that's life. Life is never going to be easy. You're going to have stuff that's coming up. that you just gotta kind of roll with the punches.
And how old is she now?
16.
Okay. So how do you handle like you know, I have 5 girls and I got all different age brackets, but like, so obviously my oldest daughter is 19. How did you handle when your daughter started, like when she first came to you and she's like, I want to have a boyfriend or she want to date? Like, how was that for you? Like, how was that dynamic?
So it was funny because it was kind of sprung on me. Yeah. So I always kind of felt that 16 is a good age to start dating. So it was kind of said like, yo, we had conversations about sex and about different relationship things, but I didn't know she had a boyfriend.
Okay.
So we had a little beef. I'll be upfront and transparent about it. We had a beef, and we went this period without talking.
Okay.
So I guess I got to a point where I got past that. We started speaking again, and when we started speaking, she had a boyfriend. I was just like, oh, oh, okay. Yeah. So we had already had the uncomfortable talks about safe sex and stuff like that, because I was like, I mean, I'm not that overbearing dad where I'm looking at all your locations and stuff like that. Now, if I'm sending you somewhere with somebody I don't know, that's one thing, but I trust her enough to do the right things. So I'm like, you know, safe sex is in the third, and she looking at me like, because nobody really want to talk about that with their parents. Yeah. I mean, as an adult, I don't want to talk about that with my dad, but it's a lot of trust, and I instill in you the life lessons that you're going to get. You're not a baby anymore.
Right.
So I just kind of have to trust that she's going to make the right decisions.
I struggle with that. I talked about that last
That was a good podcast, actually, when you talked about how you struggle with that, because I was like, it is tough, but one thing that I'll say to you is, if you don't let your kid fall, they don't realize the ground hurts.
Right.
You want to be that safety net, but I think that's more destructive than not being there at all, because it gives them a false sense of hope, and you're not going to always be able to be there
at all. No, at all. I just learned that with the youngest.
Okay.
Where like, I'm doing anything for her. Put a coat on. I'm doing like, and I had to stop. Like the director at the school was like, "Yo, Mr. Harrison, like you can't. No, like she's going to kindergarten next year. You're gonna drop her off in the yard. Like the rest of this is her." So and I'm that overbearing dad. Like my kids will tell you they like he's a great dad. He loves us. He'll do anything for us. But damn that nigga, he is like if anybody messing with us, like when they get into stuff, somebody bother them, they be afraid to tell me, and that I don't like, because I understand why, but I'm like, I need you, like, let me handle it, because. But they know I'm
right.
My kids, my mom, like they off limits.
Right.
But yeah, like I remember when my oldest daughter. So my oldest daughter, she's grown now. She's 19.
Right.
But she dates girls, and I was the first person she told.
Right.
So I remember when she called me. She was like 16. Like, Dad, like this is how I'm feeling.
Right.
And I never had a problem with it.
Right.
And any dad out there probably tell you, if anything, it's probably easier for us. I don't. It really is. I mean, this is because, like, you know what I mean.
I gotta worry about you getting pregnant.
Exactly. But yes, so for her to call me and tell me that, it was a good feeling. But also on the other side of it, man or woman, you can still get your heart broke by a man or a woman.
For sure.
And you just, like, my job is just really just to be there when she called. Same thing, my 16, 17, just be available. But I have gotten a little better with, like, not being an overbearing dad, kinda.
It's tough.
It's hard because it has nothing to do with them. For me, it has to do where we live at. You know what I mean? And I grew up in this house. I grew up in this neighborhood.
Right.
So I know what's out there.
Right.
I've done a terrible job of letting my kids know what's out there. It's good and bad. Like, we shield them, we protect them.
Right.
But they don't know that, like, that nigga over there, he will rob you. You know what I'm saying? Like, they don't know that. Right. They think, like, oh, that's just Mr. Whoever. Like, no, he would probably rob you, throw in the van. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
They not I don't know where they're not as aware. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, and with them all about to be in college and stuff, like, I'd be stressed. I'd be in this joint. Like yeah, man. It's all girls. So, you're a girl dad too. So I can only imagine. I prefer girls over boys, but I can only.
I don't know. It's 50-50 because these little teenage girl emotions. I was actually just talking to my aunt about this before I got here. I was like, listen, how come when they teach health class, they want to tell us about the STDs and pregnancy? No, tell me about these teenage girl emotions I'm going to have to deal with 13 years from that moment I'm having unprotected sex.
Right.
Because that has scared me straight.
Man.
They going to do what? Wait, what?
Right.
So then they get these little that has scared me away from unprotected sex.
Yeah, I learned those lessons I learned like late in life about like women and emotions and when they get angry and how they react.
Yeah.
I learned all that in my 20s, man. I paid for so many tires and like seriously, like yeah. And I mean, I looking back on it, most of it was my fault, but it was like nobody taught me anything. I was raised by women, so they're not gonna tell me like, oh yeah, this is how we react. They're gonna tell me how niggas ain't shit. And, like that's
definitely.
So, but yeah. So what was your father like? I know your parents are married. Like, what was your father like growing up? Like, I'm pretty sure obviously he was a good role model, but what was he like?
So my dad
what
was
is he
like,
not was. What is he?
My dad. Growing up, he was real. Both of my parents were actually really hard on me.
Okay.
So I didn't really understand it as a kid. Like I didn't think about it. I just thought that's just the way life was.
Right.
But as an adult, my parents told me that my mother, her older brother, actually died really kind of young. Well, no, young. He died at like 28.
Okay.
And he had a weird dynamic with his parents. My dad, his older brother, he died at probably about, I believe he was 38 when he died.
Okay.
And he was kind of baby. So they both looked at their older brothers and saw their flaws and said that they didn't want that in me. So my dad was like he was rough on me, and they put a lot of responsibility on me at an early age. So in like 3rd grade, I was walking to go pick my sister up from daycare, which might have been like a solid like mile and a half away. But I might be exaggerating because I was in 3rd grade. It might seem longer than what it actually was. But I want to say probably about a solid mile.
Okay.
But my dad would be like, hey, it might not have been like an everyday thing, but he expected when he needed that to happen because he was a cop. So, I mean, if he gets an arrest, he's not coming straight home.
Right.
So, and then at one point they worked different rotating shifts, so it was a lot more responsibility put on me. And I mean, I just thought that's the way it was. But he was rough. My parents are both kind of like not really emotional.
Yeah.
So it wasn't too much like coddling or anything like that. It wasn't a lot of like I love you. They had their ways of showing it where I know it was there, but it wasn't like a really emotional type of household. So. And I mean, my dad on the weekends when my homies was out like playing sports and stuff like that, my grandmother owned 4 apartment buildings, and after my grandfather died, it was all on my dad. So on Saturdays, I was lifting sheetrock and painting. Damn. And that's part of the reason why I don't know how to cook. Okay. I'm a motherfucker with the air fryer.
Yeah. Right. No, air fryer is the greatest thing ever created.
But I would come back from lifting sheetrock, putting hot water heater tanks in and stuff like that, and my mom like, all right, we going. No, I'm not. Yeah. I'm tired. I'm not learning how to fry chicken. That's just not going to happen. Right. I don't got the patience for it right now. Right. But definitely a great role model, and I've learned a lot from my dad, and it's weird because I don't think it's necessarily him like verbally teaching me these things, but just dealing with people. Okay. I could say that my dad has like a big heart for family, and looking at certain things that he went through, I could see like, yo, family ain't shit either. Like it's definitely some scenarios where I'm like, nah, my nigga, we'd have just been in here rumbling. But yeah, definitely shout out to Big Ant.
Are you a junior?
I'm a second.
Second, okay.
So the difference between second and junior is when it's second, that's normally when you come from royalty. Okay. So I'm a second. I'm not a junior.
No problem. I now see why I say Sir Anthony.
Do you see King Charles Jr.? No, you see the second, right?
Oh Oh man, you wild.
I actually put that on my nameplate at work too. It'd be like Sir Anthony Rock.
When I was on it, the joint I was like Sir Anthony. I was like, this nigga asshole.
Yo, it was funny. They was making nameplates at one of my last jobs, and the guy put Mr. Anthony Rockemore. I was like, did you ask me my pronouns? The dude was like, please stop playing. I'm not. So I take like Sir over the Mr.
Yeah. That's wild, man. That's definitely that's dope. I like having your dad, you know, at least on a day to day. It sounded like he was teaching you things without like directly teaching you.
Right.
Teaching you how to be a man, teaching you how to lead a household. Teaching you how to be how to lead.
Right.
Because you saw what he was doing. He's sheetrocker. He's a cop for one.
Right.
He out there risking his life, and then he's going home on weekends and y'all hanging up. I did my own sheetrock, and I could do it at my own pace. So having to do it on a time schedule and all that, that's a full-time job.
Yeah.
That really is.
I mean, he would. So, along with him being a cop, he was also in the Army Reserves.
Okay.
So I used to love when he had to go to to the reserves the first of the month, because I knew that was the Saturday I ain't had to wake up 7 o'clock in the morning to get ready to go lift sheetrock and do stuff like that all day. But he definitely taught me a lot, and just even with being a cop, some of the stuff that came with that, some of the social lessons and stuff like that. Like I could tell you, my dad, he worked in the 39th, and he used to walk the beat in Nicetown.
Okay.
To this day, if I talk to people that went to Gratz, and they'd be like, yo, Rockemore, you know Officer Rockemore, that's my dad. Yo, that's my man, that's and the third. So yeah, definitely appreciated the fact that I had that to look up to.
Right, and that's dope. I mean, because nowadays, you know, cops in the community don't get along. So to have a cop, and he your dad, but that people know and they can identify with. And, he was good to people.
Right.
You know, which means they felt comfortable coming to him. And,
right.
Because that's how I remember policing when I was a kid. I'm 37. I remember like in the early 90s where like the cops, they knew my parents. They was walking around like they knew them. Right. And now you see a cop, I'm closing the door because they probably coming to ask some questions.
Right.
Like, I ain't got the answers. Like I don't.
Right.
As far as the military, like what was that like? And was your dad a reason that you joined? Like what was your reason for joining?
Nah. My mom was actually in the Army too.
Yeah?
Yeah, my mom was in the Army.
Did they meet in the Army?
It's like yes and no. They didn't meet from like being in the same unit. They had like a mutual friend. And at the time, I believe my mom was in the National Guard and my dad was in the Army Reserves.
Okay.
So they ended up having like some kind of interaction where everybody just happened to be there. So it's like not because they're in the Army, but also because they're in the Army. That's how they ended up meeting. But as far as military, joining the military, I joined because the nigga needed a job. Okay. So when I went to college, since I was like 7 years old, I wanted to be a lawyer.
Okay.
When that was around the time of the OJ case and just watching how Johnny Cochran was, it just made me want to be a lawyer. I get to college. I told you I had that 1 year that I flunked the entire year. I came back the next year and I was on the dean's list. How about that?
Good
So from being almost expelled to being on the dean's list. Okay. So also I still had that black eye on my transcript.
Okay.
So I get to my senior year and they call it your capstone. So it's what you need to graduate from college. So I'm taking this class and a lady sat on a board at Temple that admitted people in the Temple law. So she was like, hey, let me ask y'all a question. Y'all all political science majors. I know y'all not trying to get into politics. Y'all all want to be lawyers, right? So y'all like, yeah. She's like, I'm going to be completely honest. I looked at all y'all transcripts before y'all got here. There's only one person in this class that's getting into law school right off the bat. The rest of y'all need to rethink what y'all want to do for a career because it's not going to be that right now.
What the fuck?
I really appreciated that because that changed. It led to like changing the course of career path that I wanted to go down. So after she said that, it was just like, we all kind of looking at her like, well, bitch.
Sure, that's what I'm looking at.
But, and it's funny because people always receive this story and look at like the negative, but I was like, honestly, that was the true hard truth that we all needed.
Okay.
Because, the one person that she said was going to get into law school before the semester was over. He got into Temple Law.
Damn.
And I think it might have been like 3 other people in the class. They didn't. And she was like, it's not to discourage her. She was like, the average person doesn't leave undergrad and go right into law school. She was like, the average age of law school students is like 30, between 30 and 35. And I was like, I can't imagine going back to school at that point.
Right.
But what it did is it made me look down other avenues. Okay. So I know that I wanted, well, I can't say that here. I wanted to do a certain thing. And I know that the only way it was going to happen is I either had to become a police officer or I had to join the army. So I took the test I tried every way not to have to go to the military. I filled out to be a state trooper. I filled out to be a probation officer. I filled out to be a parole officer. I scored low on a parole officer test for the state. For probation, the city got like a weird system where it doesn't necessarily go off of your grade. They just throw you into like a pool. And I'm like, this is stupid. Yeah. I'm like number 60, and y'all only admitting like 20 people this year. What? So we had that, and then actually the day that I left for basic training, I got my letter in the mail that said, we're inviting you to take the test to be a state trooper.
Wow.
But I went and I was like, you know what? If that's what I want to do, the easiest route would probably be to join the military. So I basically joined the military. It was never a lifelong career thing for me. I was like, I'm going to go in. I signed up for 3.5 years. I've said I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to leave. I did that, left, and you still have a mandatory 8 years that they require you.
Yeah.
So or that they can call you back. Right. So after I did my 3.5 with the Army active duty, I did another like 4.5 with the National Guard.
Okay.
So that was my military career.
Damn. Where was you been like stationed in state or in the country, or you had to go like overseas or anything?
Actually, my first duty station was Japan. I was about an hour outside of Tokyo.
Damn.
I was there for 2 years, and then I was there for 2 years. Then I came back stateside, and I got stationed at Fort Meade, which is right outside of Baltimore. I was there for about a year. Then I left active duty, and I just stayed in the DMV area.
I about to say, I was wondering like how you ended up in Virginia, because I know you're from up here, so.
I just stayed in the area. Most of the jobs that I've done have been in Virginia, so I feel like Maryland. I used to think that New Jersey was the asshole of the U.S., and then I moved to Maryland. Maryland fucking sucks.
Yeah?
Yeah, Maryland. If you're from Maryland, I feel sorry for you. It's not a... I love Baltimore. Baltimore is a fun time, but Maryland as a whole, that shit sucks.
I ain't gonna lie. So I like Maryland. Maryland's actually one of the places that I was like looking into moving. Baltimore, when I go to Baltimore though, I feel like here, but it don't.
It's Philly little cousin.
Yeah, but like I don't know them niggas. Like it's like.
So what you're saying is when you go to Baltimore, you don't know what to do.
No. What I'm saying is like
when you go to Baltimore, is your favorite color blue?
It's my favorite color blue.
The accent.
You told me. Yeah, see, yeah, I'm dead. But yeah, like I treat it like going into a neighborhood up here that I ain't never been to. I'm not going to no corner stores, no like you know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Because you can see the stuff going on.
Yeah.
but I don't like on the outskirts like Aberdeen and stuff like that.
Okay.
It's because my best friend he lives a little bit outside of Aberdeen.
Okay.
It's real like it's nice out there. It's quiet. It's peaceful. You know what I mean? But I mean. Any area like that in any state is gonna be peaceful.
Yeah, that's really not the life. That's not the life for me. I'm a city kid, and I'm just used to city type of environment. So I live in Alexandria, Virginia, which is about a solid 10 minutes away from DC.
Okay.
And it's a suburb, but I would say where I live would be the equivalent of probably living in like Old City as far as the atmosphere. So it's not completely suburban in that sense, but it's moving and shaking going on, but it's not like it's not like a suburb where it's like I'm living out Bucks County somewhere.
I'm dying to get out the city. Like every time I visit somewhere, I was just in Cleveland, in a little town outside of Cleveland called Painesville.
Okay.
Every time I leave Philly, it just seemed like everyone is so nice. Everyone is so quiet. It's peaceful. The Citizens app is not going off. And then I come back home, like literally when I flew back from the wedding, I got off the plane. Like as I'm walking onto the jetway, I turned my airplane mode off and my phone cut on, and then the first notification is like Citizens app. Somebody shot 1200 block of Hunting Park. I'm like, what? Like this is insane. I've been going 4 days and this joint didn't go off. So yeah, I love my city. I'm glad that I'm from here and I was born here, but I am not like, this is not retirement. This is not where I'm. No, hopefully my smaller kids will not go to schools in the city. Like that is my goal, dream. Yeah.
I feel like that's the one thing I love about living in Alexandria, because like when I finished my podcast on Thursday, I was doing a favor for one of my friends. Her son was in Southeast DC, so I picked him up. But I got in my car and I want to say I left at like 8:50. I was back here by 11.
Okay, damn.
So whenever I want to come and go, I can. So it'll be some weekends where I'll be down there.
You drove up here?
Yeah.
Wait. You drove up here and back?
Well, no. I drove up here and I got here at 11.
Oh, that's 2 hours?
Yeah.
For real?
Yeah.
Damn.
But that's the thing that's good about it. I'm close enough that when I miss the city, I can come back. Like I usually come back every other weekend, but it's been some weekends where I'm like, man, I ain't doing nothing down here. I'm gonna just go home, and I had that option.
Right.
So it makes me miss it, but it's far enough where I don't have to be here. but when I miss it, I can come back whenever I want.
Yeah, like I think, like I guess it's love hate. Like I always come back to visit.
Right.
I'm gonna always come back to visit. But once I'm gone, like I'm gone. I'm pretty sure like when I initially leave, it's gonna be like 6 months.
Right.
But then after that, like I'll always come back to visit. Because like you said, it's home. It's gonna always be home.
Right.
But yeah, no, Philly is fucking nuts. It's crazy. How do you feel about like the state of men's mental health, and like what do you think is contributing to the struggles that like we as men encounter?
I feel like the state of mental health for men, I feel like in the Black community in general, there's been like a recent surge of thinking about the importance of mental health, because it just wasn't there. And I think this is one knock that I have on my father. He's always been like kind of like a cold-blooded person, and I like inherited that.
Okay.
So I know there's been a lot of compartmentalizing my feelings, and then they come out in weird ways. I've realized with myself I don't properly know how to deal with grief.
Okay. And
I also, it's weird, but I don't properly process when my feelings are getting hurt.
Okay.
So I've realized that in situations, like I had a situation with a shorty, and I was talking to my friend Nikki that I was doing a show with on Thursday.
Okay.
And she was like, she hurt your feelings. And I'm like, nah, she ain't hurt my feelings. I'm a real nigga. Fuck you, man. So she was like, your feelings are hurt. You're expressing this because you don't properly know how to express that. And I was just like, damn. Right. But I feel like had this been like maybe 10 years ago, I'd have probably argued her down about that.
Yeah.
But
you're in a much more mature space.
Man. But I think I like the emphasis that's being put on mental health for Black people in general, because I mean we have years of trauma.
Yeah. A
lot of passed down trauma that's been unaddressed, and it's finally at a point where we not looked at as crazy for addressing our mental health issues, and it's just a great awareness with it right now, and I definitely think it's dope to continue down that path. And people, if you need it, go for the therapy.
I tell people all the time, like I'm actively looking for a therapist.
Actually, it's funny you say that, because my homie sent me the number earlier for you.
There we go. I think it's really like you gotta address that shit because I think it can affect like you said, like how you interact with people. I got kids.
Right.
If I'm going through some shit that I'm not dealing with, I can have a bad reaction to them, and they're kids. They don't like, you know, that's not fair to them. And then they're getting yelled at or screamed at for something. They could be, my daughter could drop something on the floor. Huh? What the, you know what I mean?
Right.
Because I'm overwhelmed instead of addressing it properly. And back to the thing you said about grief. It's funny you should say that. So I remember as a kid, like I was always at funerals. And funerals are always like really scary to me. And then when it was somebody that I like cared about, not saying I didn't care about the other people, like
some people are closer than others.
Yeah, when you're 6, it's hard to like be sad about your great aunt that passed.
Right, I didn't really know her like that.
Right. But I remember like as a kid, I probably been to like 30 funerals, and the only funeral I ever cried at was my best friend when his mom died. And I remember, like, I was fighting back then. Like, I was fighting it because, again, in the black community, you're taught you got to be strong. And this is, I'm probably like 11 or 12 by now. You're taught as a male, you got to be strong. You got to lead. You got, you know what I mean? You got to be her. And that's really what, I wasn't thinking about the fact that I didn't know what releasing an emotion was. Right. So, like, when it comes to grief, just as an adult, I just start understanding, like, you know, it's okay to cry about somebody dying. It's okay to be sad. You gotta release that because when anything you keep in, like Jay-Z, what you reveal, you heal. Right. You gotta let that shit out so that you can be done with it and move on from it.
Man, I tell you, it's the pandemic was probably the first time I had cried since I was like 14 and my grandmother died. Okay. And even when I was 14, it was like a short joint, like all right, I'm in my room by myself, like a couple, no bullshit, this is really how it went, like 2 tears fell in, I was like, all right, this shit is weird, like, but no, I was sitting there in a car, and my oldest aunt had died from COVID, one of my cousins that was in jail had died from COVID, and I mean, he wasn't that far removed from coming home, like, I had a homie that was killed. And it was just like, one day I was sitting in a car, and it was just like, damn, man, this is a lot. And them joints just started flowing. I was sitting there, man. I was like, I hope nobody walking past because I look like a bitch right now. But dog, after I got out the car, I felt so like rejuvenated, like a burden was lifted off my back. And I made a post on Facebook one time, and this actually made me want to fight my pop, but I know the nigga is crazy, so I would never try it. But I was like, damn, why people don't... I was like, we gotta stop telling black boys that they can't cry because certain shit hurt, and you should be able to release that emotion. And then people was like, yeah, I try to tell my kids they can cry, other people was like, nah, I'm not, it ain't really for me. I'm like 20 comments down, I seen that my dad commented. I said, no, I gotta see what he said. He said, yeah, because I've always cried in the dark. Nigga, what? Right. You telling me I can't cry the whole time? You crying in the shower and shit. In the shower, yeah. But yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so there's anybody out there, I got a friend, my friend Shakira, I talk to her, we DM a lot. I know her like from social media, and now we're really good friends. She actually is like a super big advocate for therapy. She just started therapy a couple months back. We talk about it a lot. Okay. And just like she has a podcast, and listening to her podcast when she first started going to therapy was what made me like really, because she had told me before, like, shit, you been in therapy, and I was like, oh, I did it like 10 years ago, but you know, it was something I didn't stick to. Right. But like seeing the progress that she's having, like really made me like, yo, Ryan, you go sit your ass down, and talk to somebody. Just because, even if it's small stuff, but it's just there's things there that I know, like just as a man, I have to address that's gonna make me a better person, a better father. There's no way one day I'll be a good husband. You know what I'm saying? All that stuff. You gotta address that stuff because there's like there's a lot of shit that's there, just period, like passed down. Definitely. What would be advice you would have to your younger self?
Yo, leave that bitch alone. She not for you. She not for you. Say no. I'm with you. But no, advice that I would have to my younger self, just stay dedicated. I actually had this conversation also, like I said earlier with my daughter, like life is going to be complicated. It's going to be some stuff that's going to come at you, but just keep doing what you're doing. I don't really have like if I would have went back and be like, yo, do this, your life would turn out differently, because everything that happened, I feel like it happened for the reason it was supposed to. But I would just say it's a light at the end of that tunnel when it get dark. I think that'd probably be another thing I would say. Because when you're younger, you always feel like it's the end of the world.
When stuff go wrong, when you like, I would say up until I was like 19, when stuff would go wrong, it definitely felt like,
shit, you better than me. Up until like 25, man. I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
Something been going away. It's just like I didn't know, like, what's the other option? Like,
right.
Like that was supposed to be the way. And
right.
It didn't work out. It was like, what do I, like, I'm scrambling. Like, what do I do? But yeah, definitely leave that chick alone. For sure. If I'm gonna ask, I say three. Who are three people you look up to, or three of your heroes, if you got three?
Anthony Rockemore, Aunt Money, Aunt Rockemore. But no, three people like in general, or
it could be in general. Could be people, like, it could be celebrities, could be anybody.
That's one I really haven't thought of. I could say somebody that I looked up to, and it started regardless of how I grew up learning about him. I looked up to him a lot more as an adult. Malcolm X.
Okay.
When I read the autobiography of Malcolm X, it was, I don't really like reading.
Right.
And it's ironic because I read for a living, but I'm really not into reading for leisure. It's just not something that I find really enjoyable.
Okay.
So when I read the autobiography of Malcolm X, what I really liked about it is when he became an adult, the hatred that he preached for white people after he took the pilgrimage to Mecca, to sit there and have to walk all that stuff back and say like, damn, I was wrong. They not bad. It's bad, and everybody is, it's just not white people that are evil.
Right.
I really respected it because he stood hard on talking about white people, and to be able to come back and apologize for that at the end of this book, that was powerful to me.
That's some grown man shit.
Yeah, because I mean, when you on a certain hill, you gotta die on that joint. You can't walk back a lot of stuff like that. But I really respected that. Another person I would say my pop.
Okay.
Looking at him, I respect the fact that I know he's from Southwest, but most of his time was really spent like down the bottom.
Okay.
And there was a lot of ways where he could have went wrong, but for him to have a dedication to, even in the environments he lived in, to keep the straight and narrow when, I mean, not just the environment, but the people that he grew up around. I remember him telling me a story about how one of my cousins took him to the drive-thru, Ethan Butler back in the day, and he was like, my cousin was grabbing stuff and he could have easily jumped into the game. Mm. But the fact that he took the straight and narrow, I really respect it and I admire it. And it was a great example to have.
Okay. So,
third person, who could I say? I think I only got two offhand. I can't think of a third person right now.
All right. Something I want to talk about, I want to get into, is this Keke Palmer and the dude. I think he's from here, Darius.
Well. They said he's from here, but they say he's from like Spring Garden. That don't really count as being. They say he's from like Spring Garden, like Society Hill.
His house is from Spring Garden.
I want to say like Society Hill.
Either way, he got us looking bad. If I don't know if y'all not keeping up with, this weekend it came out that she filed for sole custody of their son. She got proof and video of him basically, I guess, physically assaulting her and stuff like that. Aunt's actually seen the video. I haven't seen the video yet.
Well, I seen pictures. One of those. I'm not gonna lie. I'm a sucker for them little gossip sites on social media. So the Shade Room, the Neighborhood, Jasmine Brand, I get all the notifications. Okay. So I just happened to be scrolling and I looked and I saw like freeze frame shots of him putting his hands on her, and it's like undisputable evidence. I mean, hands cocked back and her in positions where he's like holding her like this, and when I saw it, it was just like, damn, he really did that. I've never been in any type of domestic situations, but I really don't like domestic stuff between. I don't like domestics in relationships, no matter the dynamic. But it looked bad.
I think, like we was talking earlier, he definitely, it's some self-esteem stuff going on. He's insecure. This ain't really just about Usher. It's funny to say that,
right?
But it's not. This was going on before Usher.
Yeah.
I think he really just got used to her being in the house, and being a mom, and forgot like who she was. And because she don't, like, I don't know her, but which I'm about to go off what I see. She don't strike me as like the normal celebrity female who, like, she like will go after Usher, or she's like looking like she really just, to me she just seemed like she a regular person who's successful at what she does.
Right.
Hence why she's dealing with him. You know what I'm saying? Right. Like I don't even know what the man do. Like I don't know what, you know what I'm saying? Like
from what I understand, he's like a struggling, aspiring actor.
I haven't seen him on nothing. If he ain't on, I mean, it's corny shows out there you can get on. If he ain't on nothing, like I said,
that nigga ain't even on a Tubi movie.
Right, yeah. So she obviously she was in it because she wanted to be in it.
Right.
But yeah, obviously we don't condone, violence
definitely not.
From both sides. Like, I've experienced it, I know women can be crazy, but this is clearly him. And I definitely think he's going to jail. I think he's absolutely.
I mean,
if he don't go to jail, because she chooses.
I haven't seen. Certain videos, like I'm good for watching a good fight video. Two dudes going fisticuffs with each other, but I'm never, like, when I heard that there's video of him doing that, I wouldn't be able to watch that. Yeah. I'm not a fan of that.
Yeah, that's insane, considering he got a son. Like, even though he's a baby, but like, I
mean, those screenshots, I wouldn't want to watch the full motion video behind the screenshots that I saw.
Right, and for this to be, I know I saw like on Twitter now he's pretend. I don't want to say pretending, but he's putting out there like, I miss my son.
I can see that. Regardless of what they got going on in their relationship, I could see really missing your son. I mean, nobody really, when you're an active parent, nobody really wants to be away from their child.
So, when we talk about the active parent part, so I also think that was part of it. I think when she like went out for her birthday and stuff,
right?
I think that was probably the first time he was ever with that baby by himself.
You think?
I think so. I like, because the way he was acting, like she needed to get back home. Like I felt like that was his first extended period of time. He just like, he was losing his fucking mind. He like, it's been a week, you been gone. I done changed 12 diapers. You know what I'm saying? When she there, he probably doing it in increments.
That makes a lot of sense.
You know what I'm saying? He able to take his naps. He able to play the game. He able to do whatever you want. But that it's all on you. And she don't strike me. I don't know their situation, but I doubt they had like a nanny or anything. You know what I'm saying? They seemed like very regular people. So he probably, you gotta get back home. Like this is, you know what I'm saying? And
little nigga going crazy over here. Yeah, then, I can see that.
Yeah, I mean, of course, again, like the Usher, that's a part of him reacting the way he did. But this shit been going on, like this physical stuff. That has been happening.
I didn't see it happening before. I just felt like he was just an insecure dude. But I could see most of the relationships that I've known that through like watching or like from a celebrity perspective, or I don't know too many people that have been really involved in domestic issues, but the ones that I have heard, it was always some like insecurity in there that prompted it.
It's always like my situation is like I was in a relationship where a girl put her hands on me. It was controlling and insecurity. And like I have a lot of female friends,
right?
So which is like no, these are really my friends, and
right.
It's just like you go online, you see me posted up at a club or a bar,
right.
but these are really my friends. But you got past trauma again that you ain't addressed, and you just assuming that I'm sleeping. Like, no, I'm really not. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And but anybody that's out there in them domestic joints, you get the fuck out of them.
Because definitely.
Man or woman, because 90% of the time the man loses because she can hit you 12 times and you hit her once, and all they gonna remember is that you hit her once. Whether you defending yourself or not. I'm not saying allow nobody to beat on you, but what I'm saying is like you gotta be smart. You want to keep your freedom.
Definitely, and also people that have kids, when the kids are around that type of stuff, kids grow up thinking that type of stuff is normal.
Yeah.
And they feed off of that energy. So if you're in a domestic, definitely get yourself out. There's ways to get yourself out of those situations.
Yeah, run. Run. Fucking run. And
definitely.
And Kiki Palmer, if you happen to be looking for, a real Philly brother, I'm a father of 5. I'm open to being a stepdad. I don't have no problem with you, going out and living your life and enjoying yourself. So, when after you done healing or whatever, slide on in my DMs.
Since we here, Nia Long, you didn't open my message I sent you.
Did you watch the interview with her and Jeezy?
No, that's definitely on the docket for me to watch next week.
Yeah, I ain't watched it yet. I saw clips. But Jeezy said real niggas don't cheat. So it's going on the t-shirt.
Black men don't cheat at all. So I don't. So do you realize, brother, when they say black men don't cheat, it's not only saying we don't cheat, but it's calling to the brothers that do cheat and telling them not to do it.
Yeah, telling them not to cheat. See, women think that mean like we taking up for the people that do cheat. That means like no, black.
Don't cheat, brother.
Don't cheat. Don't cheat.
Don't cheat, brother. Cheat. But also women don't want us to. We can't have nothing of our own.
No female friends. No.
They always want to rain on our parade.
Yeah. What else I got for you? So when it comes to like relationships, do you think, because this has been like a debate over the last, like actually throughout the summer, should women bring anything to the relationship or table, so to speak? And if so, what?
That's an interesting question because I kind of have a habit of taking women where they are. I have hard things that pulse. I have some things that are definites. So you always have to be working.
Right.
Coming into the situation, you always got to be working. That's a hard line that I'm not dealing with. Now, I have dealt with people that have lost their job in the midst of us dealing with each other, and that's understandable. But outside of that, I'm not really a person that has too many things that I'm looking for a woman to bring to the table, because expecting mental maturity, emotional maturity rather, it seems like they be lacking a lot in that.
Mm-hmm. That's a big one.
Yeah, I feel that it like next to doesn't exist at all with women. I won't say that. I'll say the women that I'm coming across.
Right. I would say, so when you hear like someone bringing something to the table, women immediately think financials. We're going to get into that too. They are, because I've talked to women about that, and they immediately go to, I'm not going 50-50 with nobody. And we're going to get to that too. But it doesn't necessarily
say 100% to yourself.
Yeah, it's not. We're not really talking money, because coming to the table means like me, for instance. We're dads, so the ability to lead other children, even if you don't have kids, because if you step into that situation, at some point you're going to be looked at, or a role model to my kids. Right. You know what I mean? How at some point the way you carry yourself, they're going to pick up certain traits from you. So, but definitely a job. Definitely, like I'm not people that smoke cigarettes. That's kind of like a deal breaker for me. Right. You know what I mean? Like there's certain things you can't do. Drugs. You can't. It's just.
So you wouldn't mess with a weed smoker?
The weed smokers is cool.
Okay.
I can deal with a weed smoker because most weed smokers can control it. It's not like
Okay.
You do have people that are like out here like itching, like
right,
you know what I mean?
right.
And yeah, stay the hell away from me. But like I could deal with a weed smoker much easier than I could deal with a cigarette because the cigarettes stink. Like they stink. They lead to cancer. I could lose you because of it. Like it's just I'm really like looking at a lot of stuff.
Okay.
But when it comes to the 50-50 part of it, where they talk like money and stuff, I also like, so women say that, I'm like, so when I hear women say like I'm not going 50-50 with a man. Two things. One, they gotta understand this is not the 60s. This is not the 50s. In the 50s and 60s, because they want to say traditional. The reason it was traditional was because women didn't have any rights. They couldn't go out and work the jobs that we worked.
Right.
Y'all asses was at home cooking, cleaning, getting the mail out the mailbox.
Yeah.
And like that was your job.
Right.
Also, bread was 25 cents. There's a lot that goes into that. Like, and now in 2023, in the black community, black women out earn black men. That's a real thing.
Right.
And that's not the black woman's problem or anything like that, but that's a fact. So when you're talking about like, oh yeah, my man has to make this or he has to have this, because women are always talking material money. Well, not all, because I won't get it.
Right.
The majority of women are always talking about money and material that a man has to bring to the table.
Right.
And like my argument is just like it's not realistic, because that's like me saying I'm 37. I need to find a 37-year-old woman and she can have no kids. I'd be like, that's not realistic.
Right.
It's possible, but it's not realistic.
Right.
It's possible for you to find a man making six figures or $500,000 a year, but it's not realistic. And I just think we got to have more realistic expectations.
So my issue with the women that say that a man should be paying for everything is, let's just say, we both going to work every day. We making about the same amount. You can make a little bit more, you can make a little bit less. I don't think it takes away from the scenario I'm setting up. If I'm paying all the bills, what is your money going towards?
Exactly. They can turn to their bank account.
So we leave and you just taking all that?
They buying bags and shit.
And I've honestly I honestly grew up in an environment where my parents went 50-50, and my mother at one point earned more than my father.
Okay.
And she earned more than him for some years. It didn't change the dynamic or anything.
Right.
So he was paying the mortgage and whatever bills he was paying. My mom was paying whatever she was paying. I remember they had like a joint account, and then they had everything else was just like separate. Whatever they was doing was what they was doing, but they were equally carrying the weight for what they made.
And how old are your parents?
I think my mom is 59, my dad is 58.
Okay, so that's crazy. My mom about to be 70. But we the same age.
Right.
So another big difference between back then and now, when your mom and dad met each other, they took an interest in each other because they liked each other.
Right.
I feel like now, not everyone, but most of us, like, we are actually looking at like what the person has. Like, obviously you eat with your eyes, but you're looking at like, oh, what does she do? What does she make? What does he do? What does he make?
Right.
What kind of car does he drive? Stuff like that. As opposed to like, I like this motherfucker, I want to get to know them. And then loving somebody from there, as opposed, because I know people, I know women. I don't know no man is of this, but I know a lot of women that have been with men, and like when they lost what they had, their interest went with it. Now he is.
Oh wow.
Now he musty. Now he's a bum. Now he's not a good dad. Now he's not a good lover. And it's like, well, when this motherfucker,
you seen it?
Yeah, like
that didn't just come about.
So like how? And then I know somebody. I ain't gonna say their name, but they listen. They know what I'm talking about. That was with somebody and he lost everything and he left him alone and he got all that shit back and they regretted it. And I had me being a good friend I am, I was like that's your fault, because men we date down. Men date down, women date up.
Right.
I can go and take the girl from across at the KFC cashier or whatever. I can take her out to dinner and do whatever, but if I remember when I was, so I come from that world. I was a general manager at KFC as a general, making great money.
Right.
Most time making more money than the people I was dating.
Right.
But the idea that I'm a general manager in fast food, it would always be like frowned upon. And I'd be looking at them like, but you live with your parents. Like, what are you, like, you know what I mean? I got my own everything.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I got money in the bank. Not being arrogant, but like, yes, my house is warm. Like whatever.
Right.
And like you are trying to figure out how. Like every time I see you, your tank is like the light is. That's what I'm saying.
Right.
We can date down, and I think like the minute we start dating up, like of course they're gonna kill us for it.
Right.
But women don't date down. You very seldomly see a woman like, oh yeah, I'm a executive here and he works at Foot Locker. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You never really see that. You really never see that.
I know I can say I think that with that being said, I think there's a lot of men that can't handle dating up. I think you have to be a real secure man to be able to do that, which listen, any woman out there that looking to date down, I'm not down bad, but listen, I don't have no problem dating up.
I'm done dating down. I'm sick of listen. I mean, obviously, I want somebody that's gonna love me and be there for me, this and that. But Lord, please stop sending me people that got financial problems.
Man, I definitely need to do a better job with dating. I'm not even going to sit. I told one of my friends, I could be a prisoner of my own misery. It's situations I put myself in knowing like, yo, this is not going to work out. Why are you even playing like this?
For sure.
But
for sure.
That's a me problem. I prompted that on myself. I can't blame somebody for that.
Right. Yeah, I'm done dating down. We got to be on the same and it's a lot. When I say the same level, it's mentally, spiritually, emotionally. Like there is a lot that goes into that. But
right.
I'm definitely I can't. And I mean I'm not rich or nothing like that. But I just can't date anybody that's like I'm. My second question is gonna be like, what's your credit score? It just has to be.
Oh,
no, seriously.
shit.
Like what? Or you ain't gotta tell me. But is it in the 7s? Like because I need to know. Like because if you're in the 4s or 5s, like I've been there before, so I know how much time it takes to get out of that. No, yeah. I know where I want to be at in 3 years.
Yeah,
that don't line up.
That's fair.
So
that's fair.
You know what I mean? Because women do that to us. Women, if you let you be at the table, I got a 450 credit score. She gonna be like, oh yeah,
450 is crazy.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's just I don't know. Again, women they date up. They don't date down. Men, we gotta be financially stable to attract women.
Definitely.
You can't be broke.
No, you definitely can't be broke. And honestly, if you broke, I don't even think you should be in the game.
Well, yeah, obviously.
I don't think you should be in the game as a broke person.
But if women are broke, they can be in the game. I know women right now.
Definitely.
I know women right. Oh my gosh! Please, nobody come for me. Like I know I got friends, like really good friends right now that are experiencing like financial difficulties.
Right.
They are actively dating, and my advice to them is always to like you need to focus on the other thing.
Definitely.
But women can do that. Why? Because you know why? Because what happens when a woman dates, she finds a man, gets a man to be interested in her. What does he do? He starts to take care of her.
Yeah.
And for some, not all, not my friends. My friends don't like that, but for some women, that's their way out of their situation.
Damn, that's so wild.
Yeah.
Wow. You know what? That reminds me of something that my dad taught me as a kid. I remember. It's funny because the talks when I would get in trouble would be like really. My dad is very pessimistic, so his talks would always be like the extreme worst of the situation. So I remember I got suspended in like the 5th grade, and he was just like, so when I tell you like the punishments were asinine, I was lifting sheetrock, and all of a sudden the nigga didn't know where the screws was that he needed the screw. So he's like, oh, hold on, I'll be right back. Let me go in the other room. Meanwhile, my arm's going into muscle failure. I'm holding it up with my neck. Then he come back, forgot the drill in the other room. Nigga, I'm about to cry.
Oh, that shit ain't no joke. I did ceilings as a grown man. No.
Right. So I remember he was having to talk with me. He was like, nigga, what you gonna do with your life? I'm like, nigga, I'm in the 5th grade. What you mean? I'm like, right. But he was like, yo, as a man, you gotta make something of yourself.
Yeah.
Because your sister's always going to be taken care of. He said whether it be me or another man, they always going to be taking care of you. Nigga, you got to figure it out because you can't come the fuck back here.
Right.
You got one go around with this. You can't come here come back here as an adult to live here. So you got to figure it out. You always gotta be something, have something coming in. And that was when we was talking about the pandemic earlier. That was one thing that did help me through the pandemic. Somebody started paying me to do like home remodeling stuff for them, and it was like $100 a day. But it worked for me at that time.
It's a lot of money in that shit.
Yeah.
When I was posting like I did floors and shit, people said me, like, you do floors? I was like, no, I just did my own. They like, oh, look at somebody do floors. You know, what do you charge? And I was like, oh, ding, ding, ding. I'll come do them.
This is you?
All this is me.
Damn.
I'm gonna show you the before. It used to be a wall here. This was never the kitchen. This is North Philly house, so you know we had the little ass kitchen in the back.
Right.
Where grandma's making Thanksgiving feast back there. The space is probably like the space we got right here.
Right.
Between this table and this. Yeah.
Damn.
I knocked all that shit
impressive.
out. Yeah, bro. It's by YouTube University. I had now to be honest, I did to be fair. I took carpentry in high school, so
okay. So you had some kind of idea.
But I had to learn I had to learn floors. I had to learn plumbing. I had to learn electric. A buddy of mine came to ran some lines for me, but through him, watching him, I learned how to do it. So now I don't even need him. I can run it on my own. I ran my own gas line. YouTube will teach you everything. You just got to be patient,
right,
and do the shit. But you can make. People would call me, I think during the pandemic, I did floors. I would do floors like once every 2 months, but I could charge for 3 rooms, I could charge like $1,500. You know what I'm saying? So I come and knock it out in a day and a half.
Right.
And for me, and for what I need in my life, that's more than enough. I'm fine.
Right.
So, next pandemic, I can't wait. I can't wait.
Coming.
It is. Did I skip anything? What do you yourself look for in a woman when you dating?
It's weird because I kind of look at the woman. For one, I look for personality.
Okay.
I mean, not that I take I'm looking to mess with somebody ugly, but
right.
I mean, looks. I feel like naturally is the first thing, but I look for personality, and from there, I kind of look at things that I start to look for things that I don't want to deal with.
Okay.
So if I see the emotional instability, all right, this probably not gonna work. Mindset is important to me because I feel like I'm never content. Okay. I might have phases where it's like I'm okay right now, but I'm never content with the way things are going. I'm always trying to figure out the next step.
Okay.
So also, what is that person looking for? Because I've met people that haven't been where they feel like they should be. Okay. But if you're not where you want to be and you're actively working towards getting there, I respect that. I could deal with that, but I can't deal with a person with a bum mentality.
Right. You complain about it every day, but you ain't putting no action
on
it.
Yeah. Right. So I mean, those are the things that I'd say when I'm looking at women, I look for the things that I'm not going to like more so than they have to have this.
Right. I dated somebody like that before. That would like wake up every day and complain about how she. It was kind of during the pandemic, and she didn't have money and stuff like that. It was about whatever stuff was going on. But I'm a problem naturally as a man. I'm a problem solver. I'll be like, you got a car, you could do Grubhub, you could do Uber. There's options out there. Your job not paying you enough, but you got all this free time. You just sitting around at home.
Yo, that's real shit.
Because I'm very much supportive. Whoever I date, but I'm not no bank. So you gotta in order for me to do for you, you gotta do for yourself.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not just because you want to sit on your ass 5 days a week. Okay, you could do that. That's hurting you.
Right.
But now, if you actively doing something and you need help, absolutely, I'm gonna help you.
Right.
But don't think you just gonna sit around. But yeah, she would complain about, oh, my job is slow right now. We're not making enough money. And I would be like, but you got these other 4 days that you just sitting around watching.
Other 4 days.
Yeah, it was on the type of work she was in. I don't want to put her out there, but. She wasn't like a prostitute or nothing like that.
I was about to say sex worker.
But the business that she was in, it was weekend work. So it was Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and I think Monday. Okay. But she would complain like, "Oh yeah, it's slow. I didn't make any money today." It's a tips driven business. Still not a stripper.
Definitely where my mom went.
But yeah, it was you know, she just complained. I was just, like I said, I'm going to give you alternatives. You can,
Right.
you have a car. In 2023, you can make money with your car. You just gotta want to do it.
Definitely.
You don't want people in your car? Do Grubhub.
Shit, they be on bikes with.
You can go grocery shopping for people and they pay you. And if you do a good enough job, they're gonna tip you, like whatever it is. But you got alternatives, Postmates and stuff you can do.
Definitely.
Get creative. Like pandemic, like I tell people all the time, pandemic either made you lazy or made you creative.
Right.
Through the pandemic, obviously I was able to do my house, but like I picked up so many skills that's gonna help me. I can either make money with, or it's gonna help me down the line saving money when I get a bigger house. I ain't gotta pay nobody to come do this stuff. So I think men are, again, not to like go in on women, but I think men, we more willing to like find alternatives.